that you're on here, and I'm excited to get to know more about what you're doing and just like how like you started like your speaking engagements and just perfecting this craft of storytelling. So I'm really excited. So, of
Oh, yes, that means so much to me. Thank you. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
course, so yeah, we can just go in, just tell us where you're from, how you got into your business, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, sounds great. So, hello, everyone. My name is Willow. I am an enrolled member of the Muskogee Creek Nation. I'm the founder of Weaving Wisdom, and I'm originally from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then I grew up in Texas. So, I've always been a storyteller at heart. I fell in love with stories from as young as I can remember.
Mhm.
And stories have been a lifeline for me. Stories have been such an integral part of who I am. And I saw so much beauty, even at a young age, of how stories can truly transform and how it can have so much power when we share our stories, when we're vulnerable.
Right.
And that was something that I wanted to be a part of from a really young age. And, part of so that's been something that's been a gift. Storytelling has been my gift that I've been so honored to carry and to share throughout my life.
Yeah.
And, my own personal story, that story is a story of overcoming. It's a story of overcoming the odds. It's a story of resilience. And, part of that story that I have to honor is, many years of my leadership journey, I lost myself very, quite honestly. I lost who I was throughout my career. I burnt out very quickly. I lost this sense of who I truly was at heart. And that was because I was giving everything to everyone else. And I didn't recognize it and realize it. And so, it was until I was able to truly reconnect with who I am, how to learn how to reclaim my voice. That was part of the healing journey as well. And so being able to do that, to know and understand what my identity is as an Indigenous woman, learning my native language, healing, like I said, sharing my story and actually really reconnecting with my story.
Yeah.
That's when everything shifted for me. And that really led me to the work that I do now. And I'm honored to be able to do that. And so, what I do is I help leaders. I help leaders at all levels, guide them in how to reconnect with their story, how to
Yeah.
show up as the strongest versions of who they are, and to be able to, pause and reflect truthfully. And so it's been a beautiful journey to be able to share that, to be able to bring that medicine to communities. I'm so grateful I was able to bring that to this year's retreat,
Yeah.
which was such a gift to me. And, I also work with organizations as well and help them tell their stories. So storytelling is who I am, and I'm grateful to have that gift and to share that with the world.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for sharing that. I think it's so beautiful, and just honestly, I didn't realize the impact of storytelling and like how really like what you've been through and the challenges that you've overcome shape who you are, and how it really does affect the listener, whoever's just like taking in what you're saying. I think
Mhm.
everyone has a story and it should be shared. So now I think I'm seeing the importance of it and how encouraging it is. So yeah, I think it's just really cool like how you're able to like perfect that. Um,
Thank you.
I guess like what what really like besides like you said something about leadership and just the gaps in that, what else I guess inspires you to continue to do the work that you do?
Yeah, so my work is really inspired by my grandfather. My
Mhm.
grandfather was a really important part of my life, and my grandfather inspired me throughout my childhood and during his time on this earth. And what's really incredible is that his career during his time, he poured into Indigenous communities. He helped Indigenous people with entrepreneurship, with professional development. And so he had his own legacy that he created during his time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel spiritually that that torch was passed to me.
Right.
And so I'm carrying forward that legacy work in my own way.
Mm-hmm.
So my grandfather, I feel is always with me and is a huge inspiration in the work that I do and shows up every single time I share my story, I speak truth, and I'm honored by that. And also this work is inspired because it's my own lived experience. Everything that I'm sharing, I've lived through it. I've healed through it. I've moved through that. And to be able to share that and help others realize when we can speak our truth, when we can be vulnerable, when we can be ourselves and share those stories, we're learning so much and we can really shift the narrative. And there's so much beauty that happens in community. Every time I'm in community, there's just so much growth that I get inspired by being able to witness, leaders, especially Indigenous women, witness each other and to speak their truth and to feel that inspiration of I can tell my story because my story matters. And so that's the space that I want to create when I am anywhere in community. Is really, this space is about you. This is about you taking that time for yourself and to be able to reconnect and reflect and really pull that into the work that they're doing, of course.
Yeah. I really love the fact that your grandfather is like a huge part of like your story and like what you do. Does like when you go back to your tribe and your community, do they like see the like resemblance and see like how like you are like the embodiment of your grandfather and how proud they are of you for continuing his legacy in a different capacity? Like,
Yeah. There's so much that my grandfather gifted to me in the storytelling way as well. My grandfather used to sing to me all the time when I was young. He used to tell me stories. I still have books that my grandfather gave to me and used to read to me when I was really, really young. And so, he was a natural storyteller. That's part of our lineage, and it has manifested and unfolded in this beautiful way over time that I have just kind of seen in myself of this is my lineage, this is where I came from, and storytelling has been a part of our family. It's been what has carried through generations. It is a gift that continues to give, and I'm grateful to be able to pass that on to my own daughter and to be able to let her tell her story in whatever way that looks like when she is ready. And, this work is so inspiring for me, and to be able to see that and embody that is just so empowering. And it's just, I can't say enough. It's just an honor and a gift.
yeah, do you have like stories of like how like your work has inspired like people from your own tribe, or just like have you had an opportunity to even speak to like the youth or the women or the elders in your own community at some capacity?
I have. So I've been able to speak to so many different Indigenous communities, especially youth, and especially back home as well. I've actually had that opportunity to speak and share. Students and working with youth are definitely one of my favorites. I love working with students and especially emerging leaders and helping them kind of step into their leadership style and who they are. So that's always fun. So yeah, I have had that opportunity to do that, and it's such an honor, and to go back to my land in that way too is just in itself empowering. To be able to share that and to reconnect in that way. I try to go home as often as I can to be in community, even if I'm not necessarily seeing anyone, but just even being on the land is just so empowering